Hello there, welcome back to this channel. How are you doing today? So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can create this beautiful style on the screen that can be styled for bridesmaid. Yeah, so if this is what you want to learn, please do well to like and subscribe and enjoy. Please watch to the end. So I'm going to be teaching you how I create the upper part. In my next video then we'll be doing the down part. Please guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. You are going to learn a lot on this channel, so do well to like, hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell and like this video for me. Enjoy. I'm going to be drafting on my pattern paper here, but if you don't have a pattern paper, if you don't have a brown paper to draft on, you can go ahead to draft directly on your fabric, still using the same method, but you have to place your fabric on fold, right? So because I'm going to draft on my pattern paper, this is a single pattern, a single brown paper that I'm going to be drafting my pattern on, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, if you look at this here, I've already used pencil to draft it so that we can just go straight to the point, right? So I'm going to be using my marker to pull you through on what I've done here. So I'm going to be coming down 1/2 inch. This will serve as my guideline. I'll be marking the vertical measurements. I'll come down for the neck depth. This is front pattern, so I'll be coming down for the neck depth at 3 inches. Then the yoke at 7 inches. Then my bust point as 10 inches. Then under bust as 14. Then the half length is 16, plus I added 1 inch, 1/2 inch to join it. Then 1/2 inch I'll cut it out later on to have it a smooth line, right? But whichever it is, your half length plus 1/2 inch is a must, but the remaining 1/2 inch that I'm adding here, you can choose not to. So I'll make this into a straight line now. So after that, now I'm going to come straight to this guideline. I'm going to mark my neck width of 3 inches. Then my shoulder divided by 2 plus 1/2 inch, I'll mark it here, which is 8 inches. This 8 inches I have here, I'm going to come down 8 inches to have my armhole depth, right, which is here. Then on this place now that I have it now, I'm going to also mark it this way, 8 inches. Then I'll connect this line this way. This will now serve as my armhole depth. That is the armhole line, right? Then on this part here, I'm going to come down 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll go up 1/2 inch, that's for the shoulder seam allowance. Then on this guideline too, I will go up 1/2 inch. Then I'll connect this. Then I also connect the slope, right, to the neck width. So this will serve as my shoulder seam allowance of 1/2 inch. Now I'll connect this with my curve ruler. That's the neck width to the neck depth. Next thing I'm going to do is to come over to my dart. I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, right? So my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus 1/2 inch, so that by the time I cut this off, I don't need to add 1/2 inch on this line again. Hope you understand that. So I'm going to mark it here now. I'll mark it on the yoke line as well. Then I'm going to connect it from the yoke line to my waist. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark on the waistline. I'm going to be coming in on both sides, 0.75 on both sides. So in total, the dart intake here is 1.5. Then this is my bust line, right? Let's label it so that you understand. Yoke line, bust line, under bust, waist, waist. On my bust line, I'm going to come down 0.75, go up 0.75, right? So I'm going to connect my dart leg to this with my straight ruler this way. Connect this as well. You can see the way I made the connection here. So now on my under bust, this is my under bust, right? I'm going to come in. I'll make sure that my coming in will be 1/2 inch. Then I'll be going out 1.5, starting from this line here. I'll be going out 1.5, right? Which is here. So the total dart intake in this place is now 2 inches. Well, this depends on your bust circumference, right? But for me, this is what I want to use here. So I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect this to this, connect this to this, and I'll be covering this area. But I don't want it to be too curved. So what will I do with this my curve ruler? What I'm going to do is that I will place it this way. You can see the way I'm placing it because I don't want it to be too curved. I don't want it to be too curvy, right? So that's why I'm placing my ruler this way. Then I'll use a straight ruler to connect this, to meet this. Connect this to meet this. Then I also place this way. Connect this to meet this, right? So now you smoothen this part. I don't want it sharp in this area, right? So now I'll come over to the yoke line, right? This is the yoke line, remember? So on this yoke line now, I'm going to mark 0.75 on both sides. So 0.75, which is here, which is here. So in total, that intake here is 1.5 2. The same what we have here, that's what we have here. So now remember what we mark here, right? So I'm going to connect this now this way. You can see the way I've connected the line here. So this is my dart now. So now we'll come back to the armhole area. Now after removing 1 inch from here, we know we measure from here to here 8 inches. After removing 1 inch from here, I'm going to start it from this 1 inch, measure that what I have, what is remaining, which is 7. I'll mark the midpoint of it, which is 3.5. Then this will become my chest line. So I'm going to make this place into a straight line. This will serve as my chest line now. Now from this midpoint, I'm going to come down 0.75 again, come out 0.75 again. Then I'll leave this here first. Then on my chest line, I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. I'm going to mark that as 9 inches. My bust circumference divided by 4 is 9. Then I'm going to measure the dart that passed through this chest line, which is 1/2. And I'm also going to replace it here. Then I'm going to remember that we need 1 inch here to sew this back because we've already added to this part Now we need to add it to this part, plus the half inch here plus this one here, which is 1. So I also replace it here. Then plus 2 inches for side seam. I want to make my this side seam 2 inches. So I'll mark it there. Next, I'll come to the waist. My waist circumference divided by 4 is 7.5. I'll mark it here. Then plus the 1 inch to join this back. I'll also mark it here. Plus this 1.5 inches for the dart intake. I'll mark. Then plus 2 inches for side seam. I'll also mark it here. So now I'm connecting this to this. Now I'm going to connect my armhole cuff. Now I want to have that sweetheart shape at the center of the front pattern, right? So I'll be coming down 1 inch, which is what I have here now. So I'll curve it to meet this. Now remember this dart we have taken from here. I need to replace it. So I'll measure the dart I have here, which is 1.5. Starting from this curve, right, on this yoke line, I'm going to start the 1.5 inches starting from there. I'll replace it this way. Then I will be curving it back to the chest line. This is the line now that we are taking on this place. This one now is no longer needed. Hope you understand that. Now the next thing to do is to measure. I'm going to be having my side bust, my bust dart, my side dart. I'm going to be placing my side dart here. So this side dart, and I'm going to be coming down 1 inch. I'll connect it to I'll mark 1/2 inch here as well. So I'll connect this to this. This is serving as the side dart. Now this 1 inch that I have here, I'm going to remove it for the back pattern, right? So this pattern now is ready. So let's move over to the back pattern. This is for front pattern. Now this is the back pattern. Now the first thing we're going to do is to mark my zip seam allowance. I'm going to be marking the zip seam allowance here. I'll mark for my zip 1.5, which is here. So I'll make that so a straight line. And because I don't want that puffy part at the back, I'm going to be doing something here. So pay attention. From this 1.5 inches that I've added here for my zip, I'm going to be marking 0.75. Then I'll connect it straight up here. I'll be cutting that off. So this will be going off. Remember that is 0.5 that we remove from here for the back shaping, but instead of the 0.5 that will be replacing back, I'll be replacing it back with 1/2 inch. So I'll also mark it here. So meaning I will place the tape rule starting from this point that I've removed the 0.5 and take it in this way, and make sure that I have my 1.5 inch for my zip, right? And I'll connect it up to meet this point. Hope you understand that. So now this is for my zip. Then I'll measure down for the vertical measurement. I'll mark down my neck depth for my back is 0.75. Then remember the yoke, we have it as 7 inches, so we maintain it for the front. For the back, we maintain the yoke 7 inches for the front, for the back as well. Then I also mark the chest line of 8 inches here. Then my bust, shoulder to bust is 10 inches. I also maintain it there. We don't need under bust here, so I'll just go straight to mark my waist. So I'll just mark 16 inches. Remember, for the front we have it as 17, but this one I'm marking is 16 inches. That means that includes the ½ inch to join it back and the ½ inch to cut out later on. So that means this back pattern is short with 1 inch than the front pattern. The front pattern is 1 inch longer than the back pattern. Hope you understand that. So now I'll make this into a straight line. I'll come over to, remember that we also come down 1/2 inch, that to serve as our midpoint. So I'll make this into a straight line as well. Then on this guideline, I'm going to mark my neck width of 3 inches, the same with the front, right? Then my shoulder divided by 2 plus ½ inch of 8 inches. Then remember, we also take it down 8 inches, which is what I've already have here. So I'm going to make this into a straight line. I'm also going to mark for my slope 1 inch, go up ½ inch, then also come to the neck width ½ inch. Then connect my shoulder slope, connect the ½ inch for shoulder seam allowance. Hope you are following. Then remember the neck depth, we'll connect our neck width to meet our neck depth and connect it to meet the zip straight like this. If you understand. Then on this chest line, I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 9, as we have mentioned before. I'll mark it here, plus 1 inch to sew my dart. Remember, we've explained that. Plus 2 inches side seam, which is here. Now there is no dart passing through here, so there's no need of replacing it. Remember, on this part too, after coming down the 1 inch, what is remaining, I'm going to measure it, which is 7 inches. I'm going to mark the midpoint of it. Then I'll come down 3/4. Then I'll come into 3/4. Then I'll connect this point to this point to my chest. Now I'll come to my waist. I'll be marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus ½ inch, which is what I have here. Then on that point, I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides. Then I'll be connecting it straight to my yoke. So this dart will be going off too. Then on this waistline, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, which is 7.5, plus this 1 inch dart intake. I'll replace it here, plus 1 inch to sew it back when I cut this off. I'll also replace it here. Then plus 2 inches for side seam. I'll also sew it. I'll also mark it here. Then I'll connect it to my chest. So this is for the back, and I'll be cutting it off. So these are my patterns now, so I'm going to be cutting them on my fabric, and I'm also going to be adding 1/2 inch on the places I've wrote those 1/2 inch on, right? And here is the pattern now. I've already cut it on my fabric, iron my stay on them, even cut the lining alongside, right? So this front one, this is the front part, and you can see that I cut my wording on it too. So this is the main fabric now, so you can see the way I'm placing it. That's how I'm going to sew the that part, right? I'm going to sew it with 1/2 inch. Then this is the lining for the front too. I'm also going to sew it the same way. Then this is for the back. I also add 1/2 inch at the upper part too to join my yoke back, right? So you can see the way I'm going to spread it. That's how I'm going to sew it. So the zip part is going to be in the middle, then the side followed by both sides of the zip panel, right? So you can see the way I'm placing it. That's how I'm going to sew it. Go over to my sewing machine, then sew it that way. This is the main fabric and this is the lining now. So the same thing I'm going to do to the lining, to the fabric as well. You can see that I iron my stay on both the lining and the fabric. So I'm going to sew the dart. So I'll do that now. I'll come back to show you. This is the yoke. Don't forget your yoke. You're also going to add 1/2 inch to the down part too. That's for the back, and this is for the front. I cut it on my neck. I also add 1/2 inch to the down part of it. Then I cut the front on fold, and it's two. You can see that the center is folded. So I'll place it together, then sew the neck and turn it, right? Then for the back, it will now be 4, right? So the zip seam is still there because my zip at the back is going to go through the yoke. So I'm going to also turn the neck for the back, so then flip it out. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I will do that now, then come back to show you. So this is it now. I've sewn it now. This is for the front. You can see how I've sewn it. Then I'm going to bring the yoke too. I've also turned the neck. So I'll place it, make the midpoint to meet, right side face each other. Then I'll place the lining on top. Then I'm going to go over to my sewing machine, then sew 1/2 inch at that upper part, then sew the side too with 1/2 inch. Then this is for the back. I've also sewn the dart. I'm also going to place my yoke too. I've sewn the yoke too. That's what I'm showing you. Now I'm going to place my yoke to right side face each other. You can see the way I'm placing them. Then I'll place them right side face the fabric, right? Then I'm going to place my lining on it. You see what I'm showing you there? I'm going to place it 1/2 inch away from the zip part to turn the side of the zip, right? So this is it now. I've already sewed the front now with the yoke and everything together. How beautiful it is, guys. So that's how you go about it. So I'll place the back now, right side face each other to sew the side. So I'll sew with my side seam allowance. Then also I'm showing you how I'm going to turn the shoulders, right? So that's how you turn it to have a neat finishing. I'm going to join it to the down part and also cut my short sleeve, and this is the pattern for the sleeve. Then after which I'll show you the final look. So this is the final look of the style after doing all the ones I've mentioned. So the next point now is to now drape on the clothes now, right? If that makes sense. So I'm just showing you how the result of what we have been doing since. So then I'm going to be draping on it now. So I'll show you how you can drape on this style to achieve that exact style, right? So guys, this is it now. So after you finish pleating it, after you finish pleating the veil, which is what I have here now, so place that, so I have that pleat at this area. This is how you can go about it, right? This is one way you can go about it. So after you finish pleating it, this is not well pleated. This is not well pleated yet, but I'm still going to pleat this. I'm just going to use this now. I just pleat it this way to demonstrate how I'm going to place it on it, right? So this is the complete sewing, just as we have said before. Now after you finish all this process, right, then you pleat this. You take it step by step. and pleat it. And after you have finished pleating it the way I've placed it this way now, so you place it this way, you can see the way I'm holding it, right? So you pleat it in a way that the pleat will be obvious, right? So you place it on this like this. So you take it to the back. So you can arrange the pleat. This is not well pleated, right? I'm still going to remove this and pleat it again, but I'm just using this to demonstrate it for you. So after you finish pleating it, then you place the pleat on it like this. Then you are going to use something, or you can tell someone to hold it at the back for you, or you use something to hold it at the back. Then you can sew this place. Right, you sew this place, you stitch the middle of this place, you stitch it together this way, following this curve that we have here, right? This little curve that we have here, you have to follow that curve. You hold it this way and stitch here. Then after you finish stitching this place, you can also come to this armhole here, which is where this sewing stop here. You can also come here too and hold it down here too. Can see what I'm doing, right? So you can also come here too, then hold it down on this place. You stitch it on this line here. Then after which you arrange your pleat up. Because if you look at the style, it's as if it was extend to the sleeve. If you don't look at it very well, you will not know that there is a short sleeve there, right? The reason being that after they stitch it here, they now arrange this to come to the sleeve. You just, after you finish stitching it on this place, you just arrange the pleat small, and make it a bit to this angle here, right? Then you also arrange it to cover the sleeve length as well. Then remember that this place will also be stitched this way, right? Hope you can see what I'm showing you. This place too will also be stitched this way. Then you arrange this place this way. Then you come to the back. Then you stitch it on this area at the back. You stitch it here on this area too. You remember you arrange it too here. Then you stitch it here like this, right? You can do this on your client's body, but if you are sewing it for yourself, of course, and you don't have anybody around to wear it for you, you can go ahead and do it on your mannequin this way. But if someone is around to wear this dress for you to do this, it would be better you do it that way. So you also stitch it here. Then you come to the sleeve area. Then finally, you get to the sleeve area. You also stitch it on this. Then you follow this sleeve this way. When you get here, you stitch it on the sleeve. When you stitch it here, after you gather it here, you stitch it here. Then you get to this, you maintain the pleat to this area. Then you also stitch it on this sleeve. You can even lose your zip a little here and shook it inside. Then you sew it to have a neat finishing at this area. So the same thing you do here, you also do it the same thing to this other side. I hope that is clear. For me, I'm not going to put it on the zip, right? At the back side, I'm going to allow it to drape down. My reason being because of this style on what you are seeing on the screen now. I'm going to share it, so that give me the inspiration to leave it at the back side. So after doing all this process that I'm showing you now, when I turn it to the back, I'm going to allow the draping to drop at the back side. So I'm not going to cut it off, right? I'm not going to cut it off the way you are seeing now. Instead of shooking it inside the zip, I'm going to leave it to drop down. And that will be the end of this tutorial, after which I'll come back to show you the final look, guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next one. Bye. And this was how we look beautiful on that beautiful day. So remember I said the down part I'm going to be posting into my next video, so do well to watch that. Bye.